My charming and fair-minded Libra friend, hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. Libra, you move through this week with a quiet awareness that something is shifting underneath the surface. There is a tension in the air, a subtle friction that doesn't always have a voice, but it colors your days in small, unmistakable ways. Perhaps you feel it in the way your mind drifts unsettled, not quite at ease. You sense a restlessness, almost like the hush before a storm, but without a clear reason for the unease. It's not turmoil exactly, more a persistent hum beneath your interactions and your thoughts, a question that lingers. How much of yourself can you hold together when the world feels just a little bit off balance? You might find yourself searching for harmony, scanning your surroundings for a sense of equilibrium that's just out of reach. There is a push and pull in your relationships and even within your own mind. You notice when conversations feel more charged, when decisions take on a sharper edge. At times, you may wonder if you're simply absorbing the energy of the world around you, or if there's something within you that is quietly resisting the ordinary flow. It can be exhausting, holding that tension, wanting peace but feeling the undercurrent of disagreement or competition, even if no one speaks it aloud. You long for things to feel smooth again. Yet beneath that longing, a quiet voice wonders what this restlessness is really about. This week, the 5 of Wands speaks to the friction you're carrying. It's not chaos, but rather the sensation of being caught in a subtle contest, sometimes with others, sometimes just within yourself. You may find your thoughts clashing, priorities jostling for attention. There's an energy to this inner state that's almost physical. The heart beats a little faster, the jaw clenches, the hands fidget. Small irritations seem to multiply, and you might notice yourself reacting more quickly than usual, as if every little disagreement is magnified. This isn't about loud arguments or dramatic scenes, but more about the steady, low-level competition of daily life, the need to be heard, to assert your needs, to find your place in the group. At moments, you may feel as though you're being pulled in several directions at once. The desire to keep the peace rubs against the need to stand up for yourself. You might find yourself replaying conversations, wondering if you said too much or too little. There's a questioning of motives, yours and others, and a subtle fear that if you let down your guard, you'll lose ground. Sometimes this shows up as second-guessing yourself, or feeling like you're in a tug-of-war between what you want and what others expect from you. Even the simple act of making plans can feel fraught, as if every choice carries extra weight. Underneath it all, though, is a deep yearning for understanding of yourself, of others, of the situation you're in. You want to know where you stand and why things feel so unsettled. This inner friction is not just uncomfortable, it's also energizing in its own way. It stirs up your desire for clarity, for a sense of direction. You might notice yourself drawn to new ideas, eager to break out of old patterns, even as part of you resists change. There is a tension between the familiar and the unknown, between the comfort of what you've always done and the possibility that something else is waiting for you. And so, this week, you walk a line, aware of the dissonance, yet curious about what it might reveal if you stop running from it and let it speak. Out of this inner restlessness, a path unfolds. The friction inside you doesn't simply remain contained, it spills over, shaping the landscape of your days. It's as if your heightened awareness, your quickened responses, set the stage for a week where choices multiply and options branch before you. The pressure to resolve your inner tension begins to show up as external momentum. What might have started as an internal struggle now becomes a series of moments where you're asked to choose, to respond, to engage. The world meets you with complexity because your inner world is complex right now. You sense the ripple effect. A thought leads to a conversation, which in turn creates a new possibility or a new complication. The more you notice the friction, the more you find yourself standing at crossroads, sometimes small, sometimes significant. Each option seems to echo the uncertainty inside you. The current of your inner state draws new currents toward you. The weak asks, what will you do with this tension? The Seven of Cups captures this unfolding pressure. There's a cascade of possibilities, some real, some imagined, each one reflecting a different part of your yearning. You may find yourself overwhelmed by choices, or maybe you're simply aware of all the paths you haven't taken. Decisions feel weightier, not because they are all equally important, but because they each carry the seed of a new story. There are moments this week when you pause, uncertain which desire is truly yours and which is borrowed from someone else. The world seems to offer too much and not enough at the same time. External demands may compete for your attention, work obligations, social invitations, family needs, your own hopes for rest or adventure. At times you may feel paralyzed by the sheer number of options, each one promising a different kind of relief or satisfaction. It's easy to slip into daydreams, to imagine outcomes instead of committing to action. The pressure is not just from outside. It comes from within as your mind spins through possibilities, weighing pros and cons, searching for the perfect answer. Alongside this, there's a subtle anxiety that if you choose wrong, you'll lose something vital. The need for clarity grows stronger, but so does the pull of fantasy and escape. You may notice yourself drawn to distractions, seeking comfort in what's easy rather than what's meaningful. Yet even as you hesitate, life doesn't pause. The days keep moving. Opportunities arrive whether you feel ready or not. Sometimes you catch yourself longing for a sign, something to cut through the fog and point you in the right direction. But the world in its own way refuses to simplify. The noise of choices persists, challenging you to find your own voice amid the clamor. This is not a week for easy answers. Instead, the friction and momentum combine to create a space where you can begin to discern what matters most. If you are willing to sit with the uncertainty for a while, the way forward rests on how you meet this moment. The potential you sense hinges not on the choices themselves, but on your willingness to engage with them honestly, to let go of the need for perfect clarity before you act. If you can bring awareness to the swirl of options and the tension that fuels them, something shifts. The possibility for change opens when you stop fighting the discomfort and start listening to what it's trying to tell you. If you meet the week's energy consciously, the Six of Swords offers an invitation. It's not a promise of immediate peace, but a gentle nudge toward movement, a quiet crossing from one state of mind to another. There is a sense of transition, a feeling that you don't have to solve everything at once. Instead, you can allow yourself to move through the fog, carrying what matters and leaving behind what clouds your heart. This card speaks to the possibility of gradual clarity, of finding relief not through escape, but through acceptance. You may not have all the answers, but you can begin to release some of the burdens you've been carrying. The week becomes less about fixing the tension and more about letting yourself be changed by it. Growth in this context means recognizing that you don't have to stay stuck in indecision or overwhelm. It's enough to notice what's shifting inside you, to trust that each small step, each honest choice carries you closer to a quieter mind. The invitation is to move even if the way forward isn't fully visible. You may find, almost without noticing, that the waters are calmer on the other side of your uncertainty. There's a softening as you let go of the need to control every outcome. In that space, new understanding arises and you breathe a little easier. 3 cards woven together, the friction of the 5 of Wands, the dizzying array of options in the 7 of Cups, and the gentle transition of the 6 of Swords. Your journey this week is not about winning the argument, or choosing the perfect path, or even escaping the weight of uncertainty. It is about meeting yourself honestly in the middle of the tension, allowing the noise to settle until you can hear what your heart is really asking. The restlessness you feel is not a sign of failure or weakness. It is a reflection of your desire to live authentically, to find your place in a world that doesn't always make sense. You are not alone in this process. The discomfort is part of the movement, the confusion part of the clarity that slowly emerges. There is no need to rush toward resolution. Instead, you can allow yourself to move at your own pace, trusting that each step carries you forward. By the end of the week, you may notice a subtle shift, a softening in your thoughts, a gentler way of holding your own uncertainty. You realize that harmony isn't something to be forced, but something that arises when you stop pushing against yourself. In this space, reassurance quietly returns. You are capable of moving through what feels murky, and you will find your footing again, even if it takes time. Actionable insights for Libra this week. This week's tension can be met with gentle curiosity rather than urgency. You could try noticing when your mind wants to race ahead and simply pause in that moment. If you feel the pull of too many choices, you might allow yourself to focus on just one thing that brings a sense of calm. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I feel my own presence in this moment. The noise around me does not define me. With each breath, I let go of what I cannot hold. My clarity grows as I move forward. I trust myself to find steady ground. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.